Well, hello. I'm here with Doug. It is July 10, Thursday, 2025, and we're going to talk about Mecha Hitler and other things.
Mega Hitler?
Mecha Hitler. The,
Mecca.
yeah,
MECA?
yes. Last week, Trump said, Elon Musk said that he was going to fix Grok so it stops being so politically correct. So that's what
Good.
So now it calls itself Mecha Hitler and tells you that the Jews are behind everything and that Hitler is right and we need Hitler to come back again to solve all our problems and stuff like that. Now he changed it again after people complained about this. Some people seem to feel like something was wrong about this, and so he probably changed it again. It's the second time he's done this. He's updated it so that it stops irritating him, and somehow every time you make it the way Elon likes it, it's a raging Nazi. So anyway, um, also, it came out, they know he says he's going to form a new party, which I highly doubt.
Elon, meaning.
Elon Musk is going to start a
Yeah.
new party, but he contacted Curtis Yarvin to find out how to do it. And Curtis Yarvin is J.D. Vance's guru. He is the guy that has the plan to reconstruct America into a bunch of feudal provinces ruled over by techno lords who will have total power in their domain. He says that would be much more efficient. And I'm sure it would be for them.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah. And, and like I say, if Elon Musk actually wants to participate in a third party, he should join one of the existing ones, like probably the libertarians. But anyway, apparently his ego is too big for that. So he's going to pretend to start a third one. Then he's going to find out how difficult it is. Then it's all going to go away, I suppose. But anyway, he's currently going through that cycle. And that's the madness. Uh,
He's kind of doing like a Ross Perot thing.
Well, Ross Perot actually had like 20% support. Elon Musk has like 4% support. So it's really
Well,
just,
wait. Forget that detail, but it's the same kind of theme, if you
well, it
will.
is in the only thing that's the same about it is they both would like to balance the budget.
Right.
Ross Perot was not a Nazi, I think. And Elon,
No,
yeah,
yeah, and but they were both billion. They are
yeah,
were both
they're
billionaires.
billionaires. And, I remember that's why I started thinking maybe we're listening to the All In podcast because those guys are all PayPal mafia guys. And they all
Right.
supported Trump, but they said it was entirely because of financial issues. And now that Trump has just blown up the deficit more than ever, maybe they're going to depart from Trump and go towards Elon. That was what they loved was the prospect of cutting government spending and balancing the budget. And none of that is happening. So anyway,
Okay.
so Trump has a lot. So article, a tape came out of what Trump said at a private fundraiser. You remember, Trump keeps saying if he was the president, we never would have had that war in Ukraine. Well, the details have finally come out. He said that he called President Vladimir Putin and told him, if you invade Ukraine, I'm going to bomb Moscow. And he called Xi Jinping and told him, if you invade Taiwan, I'm going to bomb Beijing. And he said, even if they believe me 10% or 5%, that would be enough to stop them. So I don't know if any of this is true, of course, because it's what Trump said, but this apparently was his master plan to prevent those invasions. And it's all pretty horrifying. But a similar one is his 50% levy on Brazil, because he contacted Brazil and said, you have to stop prosecuting Jair Bolsonaro. And if you don't, I'm going to put a 50% levy on them, even though the U.S. has a trade surplus with Brazil. He claimed all this was because of trade deficits, which he misunderstands as being a loss to the country, which it's not. But Brazil isn't even in that category. But he's just trying to influence their internal law enforcement policies with this kind of pressure. And, it shows the ultimate, crony capitalism, where it's just you do him a favor like a mob boss, and it's all just about him and not about the country. And there was, I think Bloomberg wrote about this, and they said it signals to trade partners that any and all issues that catch Trump's attention could become a problematic part of the trade agenda. It also raises questions as to whether reciprocal tariff negotiations will ever really settle anything. You're just dealing with a mob boss who just breaks his word like crazy, so deals kind of be nothing. So anyway, and in the same spirit, they've been targeting academics that support Palestine for deportation. And they've been using a website called Canary Mission, which is like Moms for Liberty. It's a
Mm.
social media site where people hunt down academics that they say are saying unpatriotic things from the MAGA point of view, and that's how they find people to deport. So this is like, remember, Laura Loomer went and told him who to fire, and he fired like 6 people after that. So it's like many corrupt nobles in the past, where there's just people he trusts close to him, and he does whatever they say. So same stuff goes on. But Trump now said he wants to remove citizenship, revoke the citizenship of Mamdani, the proposed mayor of New York City, and Elon Musk, and deport them both. And the question has come up, can he do that? And a Harvard scholar said, no, he can't do that. I'm not so sure. And so I found another article from Al Jazeera, which I think is a much more objective source to answer these things. And what they said is the U.S. government has done this before. They frequently tried to denaturalize citizens during the Red Scare periods of 1917 to 1920 and 1947 to 1957, including communists and Nazi sympathizers. And that would seem to include those two people. And in 1967, the trend for denaturalization slowed down when the Supreme Court ruled that a U.S. citizen could not be involuntarily deprived of their citizenship unless they meet the specific criteria of having obtained naturalization by fraud or having committed serious offenses. But I've read other articles that mention there are some offenses there, like not supporting American values, which I think MAGA people would certainly say these people are guilty of. So it remains to be seen, but it is not clear to me at all that Trump cannot revoke citizenship of really anybody, especially with this Supreme Court. But anyway, we'll see what comes of it. It'll be Elon Musk and Mamdani first.
Yeah,
And,
interesting.
yeah, and there's one more of these politics ones that you might like. Your favorite lady, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was being famous because of her claim that Jews were controlling satellites and they were using lasers from space to set fires in California. And she has persisted in the belief that we control the weather. So the floods in Texas, she's sure, are weather manipulation by satellites or cloud seeding or chemtrails or something. And she's trying to pass a bill outlawing that, making it a felony to manipulate the weather with these means, which don't exist. And this has been so successful that 10 individuals in the Dallas-Fort Worth area attacked the Prairieland Detention Center, launching fireworks at the center. Well, those are anti-ICE protesters, but the one that fits this better is a militia called Veterans on Patrol, which aims to dismantle weather radars used to predict the weather because they're convinced that they are being used to control the weather. And they are planning to destroy the weather radar that's used to predict the weather in Texas. The founder confirmed that they are absolutely working to target Oklahoma radars. I mean, it's Oklahoma, not Texas. But anyway, that's where we're at in the world of politics.
Oh, well, Sam, let's not end there.
Yeah.
Do you know what's going on in Texas?
Well, I
We
know
got
flood
the age verification from the Attorney General.
for the Attorney General.
Yeah, from the Attorney General.
Oh,
They're trying to
for using the internet sites like porn sites, right?
Yeah.
I,
Well,
have they implemented it? How did they do it?
no, but they're trying to.
Right. So
And
I think.
there's an interesting argument that's come up here
Yeah.
because I believe what they're trying to do is make it so that kids under 15, it's illegal for them to be on the internet.
Oh, yeah. I think that might be what they're doing in the UK too.
Yeah. So forget the technology, which we know doesn't work.
Yeah.
But there's an interesting angle here. Is there freedom of speech for kids?
Well, the Supreme Court has ruled in various ways on this. I would think the current Supreme Court would just lie down and do anything Trump tells them to.
Yeah. Well, from what I'm hearing from lawyers, legal argument here is that there really isn't any. I mean, there really is freedom of speech for kids.
Well, not if their parents don't say so. I think because
That's different. That's different. That's the
different.
parents.
And this, of course, the real issue is the First Amendment. Does the First Amendment block the U.S. from blocking sites?
Right,
Under a
right.
liberal Supreme Court, it would. Under this Supreme Court, I wouldn't assume they'll uphold that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So we'll see. This is an interesting argument that's going on,
yeah,
and this is also an experiment. So we'll have to see where this goes.
yep. All right. Oh, by the way, another thing, the IRS has now said that churches can endorse political candidates without losing tax exempt status, which reverses a 70-year precedent. And I saw an article that said Morning Joe said, I would hate to be a preacher now because, your your congregation will demand that you endorse Trump. And if you don't want to do it, they'll leave, and you won't be able to hide behind saying, oh, no, I can't do that because I'm a church.
Boy, that's an interesting one, huh?
Yeah, and there used to be this idea of separation of church and state, which the current mega people absolutely want to tear down. And this seems like a big part of it going down.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see, won't
Yeah.
we?
Of course, I know a lot of churches do anyway. I've heard a lot of people reporting that if you go to like these mega churches, it's basically just a Trump rally in there. So
Yeah. Well, Sam, if you read back the history behind this, and I think we've talked about this before, is was it Jerry Falwell was the one back in the 70s that started rallying people together and mixing church with state, if you will, to
yeah,
endorse to endorse specific agenda under the laws, which are very conservative.
and to be fair, the Quakers have opposed capital punishment forever, and the Catholics have had revolutionary Catholics that promoted like social justice movements and stuff. The church has been involved in politics all along. It's been a pretty small thing. There's certain things they can't do supposedly. It's been pretty shady anyway. But
Yeah, but I think during the 70s there was kind of the change between the generations where there was a pretty strong divide between what I'll call the World War II generation and their kids.
right,
And Jerry Falwell was part of the World War II generation that believes wants the Christian agenda and decided to really mix that with politics.
yeah, yeah,
And that they could become, if they united together, they could become a political power or a political stronghold.
yeah,
And the the one issue that they rallied around that they felt all Christians would agree with, depending on where you stand on it, but it's the abortion issue.
right. That became a tool used to
Yep.
create political activism. Yeah,
Yeah. And then along with that is sort of hidden in that agenda is the segregation of schools, bringing back segregation.
right. And that's the big one now is racism after abortion. They want abortion, so now they're trying to use
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. They got their one win,
yeah,
but that wasn't really their primary agenda.
yeah.
And so we're seeing the school vouchers, and there was Trump just signed into law, didn't he, about the vouchers, changes for school vouchers?
I don't think I saw that one, but that would be sensible.
Yeah, I believe that was this week that something was signed into effect.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. This is an experiment going on.
it
See
is.
where this goes.
Well, I'm hoping for a big backlash to the left in 26 and 28. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. And then you also have science that's being knocked,
Oh, yes.
right? We're taking money away from Medicare.
Yep.
We're, as you mentioned, we're defunding the National Weather Service
Yep.
and
And any vaccines.
vaccines. But if you recall, there was one astute congressperson said, what do we, this was years ago, but what do we need to spend money on satellites for? Why do we spend hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions of dollars on satellites when all you got to do is turn on the weather channel to see what the weather is?
Yeah, see, that makes total sense from mega point of view, I think. And
Yeah.
and they're trying to say they didn't do anything wrong in Texas, but they totally did. boy, I've been reading about that. Not only did they, that county couldn't have the money to have a warning system, and they still don't have it because they didn't have the money to put up sirens and stuff. And the county had the worst floods. And Christy Nome changed the rules that you can't deploy an emergency help to help weather that cost more than $100,000 without her signature. And she dawdled, so they didn't send people on Friday. She didn't sign the thing until Monday. So
I see.
there's a lot of criticism about what they've done there. Um, but in the Magog,
Yeah, but
it's all,
I would argue, Sam, I don't know enough about it,
yeah,
but didn't that storm come on just pretty abruptly? There
they
was no warning of it, was there?
there was, but
Oh, there was.
they didn't get it out to the people though.
Okay, because I'm just comparing that. A couple weeks ago at Lake Tahoe, there was a storm and a boat there capsized. I think it was, do you know who was on the boat or whose boat that was? Um, one of the food delivery services. One of the big, one of the executives that was their boat and
Uh,
their family members.
hmm.
It's not coming to me right now like home fresh, farm fresh. No, I know it's not that.
Yeah,
Anyway, there was an abrupt storm that just came up, no warning in advance,
yeah,
and there were 10-foot waves, 6, 8, 10-foot waves on Lake Tahoe, which 10 foot is unheard of. 3 foot, 4 foot, big storms. Yeah, that's something that happens. Anyway, the boat capsized. The boat, from what I've read, was not overloaded. So this was just a free accident storm. When they saw the people in the water, they tried to get to them, but they couldn't get to them.
yeah. Well, it sounds like that's one you couldn't avoid.
No, no. And, sometimes these storms, like rogue waves,
Yeah,
right? Sleeper waves that sneak up on people, they're not predictable. Nobody knows.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I got some information security
Uh,
stories. Um, there's a new Android attack, UI redress attack called Tap Trap. And what it does is there's a way to project an invisible screen on top of the screen. So you think you're clicking on one thing, but you're really clicking on something else. And that's because the reason it happens is, when you like you turn on Zoom and it says, oh, Zoom needs permission to access the camera. So what happens is if your app allows another app to launch one of its screens, which apparently
yeah,
75% of apps do, there is some signal that can come from another app that launches one of their screens inside a different app. That's what makes this possible. So it sounds like you can only do certain things that are on those screens. But anyway, this UI redress, which is one of the scary things about all computing, is when you click on something, but they trick you into clicking, they lie about what you're clicking on. I know the simplest one I remember is Microsoft Windows update from Windows 10 to Windows 11, where you click on no and they say, oh, you clicked on yes. And this just more the same kind of thing.
yeah. So I will tell you that is, I think, a well-known, or it used to be a well-known trick that
Yeah.
scammers would use, where you build an invisible window
Yeah.
that's larger than the screen so the user can't see it. And in there, you have a button that overlays where you don't want them, where they don't want to click,
Yeah.
but you entice them to click there,
Yeah.
which does the opposite of what they wanted.
Yeah. This UI redress, and it keeps coming around again and again.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
websites that let you do it with iframes, and then they patch that in various ways. And now it's Android apps that have it. They, anyway, that's
Oh, you froze on me.
really, it looked good from here. Did it get better? Do you hear me? Well, that's disturbing. Let me wait a few seconds to see if it comes back. Your internet connection is unstable. All right. It always says that. Maybe it means it today for once.
Well, you were frozen there
Yeah.
for
Yeah, it came
about
popped up
10.
and said my internet connection is unstable. As far as I know,
Oh, now you're unstable again.
hmm,
Sam, we must be talking about things we shouldn't be talking about.
That's one possibility. Well, let's see if it holds together long enough to do this. Can you see me now?
All right.
All right.
Yep, you're coming through. Let's try and continue.
Yeah, you might like this one. I didn't know this. There's automatic content recognition is running on everybody's smart TV, and it's taking 2 screenshots per second, I think, and cross-referencing them with a vast database of media content and advertisements to target ads. So it's doing essentially what Microsoft Recall wanted to do. It's recording everything you do on the TV and sending it off to cloud services so they can decide what ads to send you. And
I
it
see.
is possible to turn this off, but they make it very difficult, and they're likely to turn it back on with your updates. So I didn't know how bad these smart TVs are spying on you, but apparently they really are. And the technology is automatic content recognition.
And where, yeah, okay.
So they're trying to keep track of exactly what you're watching so they can target ads, just like a web page.
Yeah, okay. So it's smart TV. I get it. I get it.
Yep. Anyway,
Huh.
yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, I did not know that, but in retrospect, I wondered years ago why they weren't targeting ads on TV, and apparently they are targeting and customizing it. So Doge is still running, even though Elon has been ejected and supposedly people are gone. What turns out is the people that have apparently been fired are still working on Doge. What they're doing is cycling into federal agencies quietly, spending days or weeks building products and cutting contracts, and then cycling out again. This is all done with little or no oversight from the White House or the U.S. Doge Service, which they purportedly represent. And they interviewed people like the guy Big Balls, who said he was out, but he's really still participating, saying all it takes is people taking you seriously for you to be there. You don't need a government laptop or email or anything like that to tell people what to do. So they're just using non-government devices and non-government signal and stuff to tell people, and people are just doing it. And they're just replacing software from these guys. This is kind of appallingly insecure. As you know, all the security measures are supposed to be in place for government work. But of course, all that is out the window.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's interesting, still going on.
All right. Well, I got one for you. This
Yeah.
is from Marketplace Tech. Interesting. You know how Google used to crawl the web?
Oh, they still do.
Well, yeah, they still do, but they crawl the web and they would present search results to you. And they were able to monetize that,
Yeah.
right, by selling the ads. Okay. With AI coming along, you've got AI crawlers crawling the web.
Yeah.
They're scraping the information, but they're not providing any value as they scrape the information. Would
Right.
you agree with that?
Oh yeah, we talked about this, or maybe you weren't here for that one, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So bad.
Okay.
It used to be like 8 or 10 crawls per click. Now it's like 50,000 crawls per click.
Yeah. So Cloudflare has been monitoring this and they're trying to monetize this.
Yeah.
And what they're proposing is a pay per crawl model.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you're familiar with
And they
this.
built a sort of filter to block the AI. And the last thing I saw is they're trying to force Google to have 2 different identifiers, one for the web crawl and one for the AI crawl, so they can let one through but charge for the other.
Yeah. As if that's going to work.
Well,
Maybe.
might work with big companies you can sue, but who knows? But
Yeah.
people say if it goes the way it's going now, it's going to be the end of the internet as we know it. Nobody will be able to get any money for anything because anything you put up will just get crawled, using up all your bandwidth, and then everybody will just look at the AI copy of it. So you'll never be able to get any money from ads you put on your site.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Cloudflare is on the right track, I think, to have a blocker. That will make AI less useful. AI will not know about current things.
Well, unless you pay.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here we go back to the paywall model again.
Yeah, we do. I see paywalls everywhere, but there's paywall. Sir, I have to use paywall busters for almost every page I find in the news now. There's easy
Yeah.
breakthrough paywalls right now, but I suppose that won't last.
Yeah. You know what the problem is with paywalls is when you're in social media, somebody who's got a subscription will put a post up
Yep.
and then you can't read it, or you get a little excerpt of it.
Yep.
And and you either have to subscribe, but I'm not going to subscribe to, some newspaper or something just to read one article
Yeah. Well,
when I'll probably never read another one from him again.
yeah, that's why I use removepaywall.com. That's the best one. It's
How well does that work?
it works on everything I've tried it on. It has 5 different ways to break the paywall, and one of them will work almost everywhere.
That's funny. Okay.
Yep. So I can see like the Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg and all the stuff that's hard to see. I think we all need this, just like we all need ad blockers. It's you can't get anywhere without it. You're right. Almost everything's behind a paywall now, so it's sort of ridiculous.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, of course, the other thing you can do is wait like 2 days, and then people will copy it under third-party news sources that will just have a copy of like the Wall Street Journal article. The problem is those are sometimes fake and unreliable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so Perplexity is going to launch their own browser. They say they're going to get rid of the click model of the web. The browser is going to be smart and help you. It'll have Perplexity as a default search engine. The browser is named Comet. It'll have a sidebar assistant that can summarize pages, answer questions, and even take actions on your behalf, like sending emails and buying products. And the goal is to transform the entire browsing sessions into single seamless interactions. But right now, it's only available to their top premium members that are paying $200 a month. But OpenAI is also making a browser. So, this may be the way of the future. And
We'll see, right, Sam? We'll
yeah,
see. We'll
this is
see.
like Apple Intelligence, right? The question is, could AI really do something? I've come across something it could do. Everybody I know, every time you go out to dinner with somebody, they pull out their phone and they're hunting for something. I wanted to show you this, but I can't find it. And every time a message pops up on my phone with an important message, but I'm busy, I go an hour later and I try to find it and I can't find it. Was it an SMS? Was it a signal? Is it an email?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gone. So if an AI would help you find the stuff, that would actually be useful.
Yeah.
Anyway, and in order to do that, it would have to know everything you've done, like Microsoft Recall.
Right. Right.
Anyway, this one you might like. This is pretty good. There's a woman in San Jose who comes home and there's hundreds of packages piled in front of her door. And then tomorrow, another hundreds of packages. It turns out there's a Chinese company that sells covers for automotive seats, and they're no good. They don't fit. And it turns out the Amazon system is if you're an international seller, you must provide a United States address for refunds, or you have to pay for the shipping, which is expensive. So what these guys do is they ship junky stuff. And then when you complain, they say, oh, you have to pay to ship it back to our refund office in America, which is this random woman's house. So they have to pay like a couple of $100 to send the stuff there. It piles up in her office. She can't get rid of it. It's so much you can't even get in her house. And she's contacted Amazon over and over, and they don't do anything about it. So it's kind of madness. I wonder how many people this is happening to. Anyway, but of course, now she hit like some TV news source, which called Amazon and harassed them. So that'll probably embarrass them into fixing this one case.
I doubt it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Give it some time.
Yep. And here's another one. In India, they sent an email to all the students at a college and said, when you come back, you should be aware we have put AI cameras all around the campus and all around the neighboring businesses to see if you're smoking. And if you're smoking, you'll be immediately expelled. We're going to do facial recognition and find out if anybody's smoking. So that's charming.
So, Sam, what's the motivation behind that? I mean, I understand
I guess,
smoking, but
I guess they're really upset about smoking.
okay. Okay.
I don't know enough about Indian culture. Maybe smoking is very, very scandalous in India. I don't know. I know some Indians, but I've never seen them smoke, but almost nobody smokes anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, Sam, I was out of state and I was pretty shocked. Cigarettes, I think, and maybe this was an inflated price just because of where I was at, but I think they're $12 a pack.
Oh, they really are. Yeah, there are tons, and mostly taxes, because this is the kind of stuff
Ah,
that led to Doge and Trump and everything, the liberals have been in charge for so long, and they push these nanny state things because the taxes really do cut down on smoking and save lives. So they got more and more. So there's tons of taxes on gasoline and tons of taxes on cigarettes. And the MAGA people probably want to reverse all that.
Yeah, yeah, I would think so if you, especially get the tobacco industry behind it.
Yeah, I haven't heard that happen yet, but that would seem logical to be that would be one of the things they'll get to. And
Yeah, I wonder, out of curiosity, it was in the 80s that the tobacco industry really took a hit.
yeah,
And I have no idea, but I'm wondering what business they're in now. Uh,
I think I've heard, but
yeah.
I've forgotten. People talk to, I think actually one thing they do is they make all the smoking cessation products like nicotine patches and stuff. That's logical, right? You sell garbage to both sides. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think
exactly.
there's something else despicable they moved into, but I forget what. Like I remember I knew a guy that was advertising for beer, and then he was doing advertising for wine. And then they said, we have these new things called wine coolers, which are soda pop with alcohol in them. And the purpose of them is to help young people convert from soda pop to booze. And that's when he said, I don't think I'm going to keep working in this business anymore. I don't feel good about these ads.
Is that what, well, yeah, I guess some of them are.
Well,
Um,
they made ads specifically targeting teenagers for the wine
did
cooler,
they?
just like they made
Okay.
ads with Joe Camel specifically targeting teenagers for smoking. And they all got busted for this years later. They figured out that was the big market. I remember Virginia Slims, when they tried to get women to smoke, they had a big push to get kids to smoke. And then they had a big
Hmm,
push to get kids to drink. It's a huge untapped market. So
yeah. Okay.
I have one bit of good news out of character.
Okay.
The rate of tech layoffs in San Francisco has finally dropped. It was 6,468 in fiscal year 2020, but now it's fallen to 22,582 in fiscal year 2025. So maybe our students will be able to get jobs again pretty soon. Right now,
We'll see.
even the students that finish the program and graduate and do well have trouble finding jobs because the market is flooded with all these highly experienced laid off people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But AI makes all these new jobs. People are still pouring money into it, and so if the layoffs decline, maybe go back, move back to having entry level jobs again.
Yeah. We will see. And if you've been watching NVIDIA,
Yeah,
they're up to, I think, 165.
yeah,
So a few months ago, they were down to 90 or in the 90s, 95, 97.
yeah.
So they're doing well.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, Meta, same thing. I haven't been following them, but
yeah.
um,
I think a lot of people still believe they're going to be able to lay off their staff and replace them with AI, like Microsoft believes that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
as long as that happens, I think AI is going to be taking all the entry level jobs our students want.
Nah, I don't think so, but okay.
Well, I think that's
Some,
the question. I know more and more companies, like I think it's 40% of companies are abandoning their AI rollouts after discovering it doesn't actually work. And then they might start hiring humans again. But they hit the
right.
disillusion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that's all I've got.
Yep, that's it for me this time.
Okay. So we'll have another one of these. This one's early because I'll be traveling on Friday. So next one will be Tuesday.
Tuesday the 15th.
Sounds about right. I'll be back in California, so we can have it at the usual time then.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.